Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And first of all, I want to welcome any Tennesseans who might be here, if you would stand. Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Good. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. And Commander, thank you for your team. They're great to work with, and certainly we wouldn't have gotten done last year what we've gotten done without the help of your team. And I also want to thank my colleagues here at the dais, because I can tell you that in my 10 years here, I've never worked closer with, it pains me from the House to say something nice about the Senate, but anyway, they were great partners last year, and we would not have gotten done what we've gotten done for our veteran community without their help. So thank you all on the Senate side, and this is a very bipartisan. We try to check the Republican and Democrat at the door and do what's right for our nation's heroes. I was at an elementary school this week on Monday, and I asked the children, it was a 5th grade class, and it was probably 40 kids in there, and I asked them to hold up their hands if they had anyone in their family who was a veteran or was currently serving. About 80% of those kids held their hand up. That's who we represent, and you all, like I am, are the past, and we're doing what's right for our veterans, but those kids are the future. And with the example they've been given by you, they will also step up and serve this great nation. During the last 2 years, I don't remember a time in my time here in Congress we've accomplished as much for our nation's heroes. We passed an Accountability and Whistleblower Protection Bill. I think one of the major pieces of legislation is not talked about as much, but I think can be transformative, is the appeals modernization, which Mike led right here. It's passed into law, is now live. The Forever GI Bill, which now allows a veteran. I used a GI Bill when I got out of the Army. You know, who knows with these things how fast technology is changing and rapidly, so a veteran at 50 years of age can go back and get retrained going forward. The VA Mission Act, which can either be the most transformative piece of legislation we've passed in decades for the VA, or it can just be another piece of paper that's written and signed into law, depending on how it's implemented. And so I look to you to help us, and Commander Lawrence and I have had discussions about that. He'll be coming to my district to look at some things that we have done. And I want to thank Chairman Takano for his continuing the technology committee that we stood up, subcommittee that we stood up. Look, I told the Secretary that if we don't get this Cerner, this electronic health record done right, we both need to go in the witness protection program. And it is one that we absolutely have got to get right going forward. And we talked about burn pits. We passed a piece of legislation yesterday on the House floor. But think about this. If you're allowed to go in at DOD as an 18-year-old, and 50 years later something may have happened to you, who knows what, if you've got that virtual lifetime electronic health record, we can go back and mine that data and find out, did it actually affect you? Positive, negatively, whatever. So that's hugely important. 3 other things very briefly I want to talk about. One, very near and dear to my heart. I'm a Vietnam-era veteran. I served in Korea, Camp Casey and other places in Korea. But one of the things that's very near and dear to my heart are the Blue Water Navy vets. Look, we left a war in 1975 that did not go well for this country, and it took us a couple of decades to finally get our swagger back in this country. It's time that we treated those Blue Water Navy veterans that were off the coast of Vietnam exactly the same as we treated every other veteran who put their feet on the ground there. So I need your help. To finish up, and I know the chairman will have comments about this, but another thing that troubles me greatly as a physician is suicide. I just saw the AMA published a piece of information yesterday that said that with alcohol and drugs and suicide, those 3 things, almost 47 Americans per 100,000 die each year. That's not only a veteran tragedy, that's an American tragedy, and we have to change that. We're having a roundtable this afternoon. The chairman's called on veteran suicide. The president, as you know, had a declaration yesterday, executive order. It's going to take more than executive orders and declarations, folks. It's very troubling to me that 20 or whatever the number is commit suicide each day. And lastly, our homeless veterans. 10% are in Los Angeles County of all the homeless veterans in America. That's a scourge on our country, as wealthy as we are, to have one veteran living homeless anywhere. So I want to finish by thanking you for the privilege to serve on this committee. It has been. I look forward to working with you all, and I look forward to this Congress. And I yield back.